For 3 summers, I worked in an old county hospital that my buddy's uncle owned. It was without a doubt the worst time of my life, as I today worked completely alone until around the end of my time there. There's plenty of history between this building and I, which if it interests people enough, I'll divulge, but I want to focus on a specific story. Prior to my employment there, we spent 2 nights in this building. This will cover the second night. It was my buddy. Names have been changed for privacy reasons. We'll call him Chris. And my brother Luke and I. We brought a video camera with us and we rode ATVs around the property for most of the day before entering the building. Once we were in the building, we set up our base camp on the 3rd floor in a day room. Basically just an open space where the people could hang out, like a common area. The 3rd floor was a medical ward, which housed a hospital unit, and one of the thickest doors I've ever personally seen. At least 4 inches thick, with only deadbolts to open and close it, along with the observation windows and a nurse's station for just that room. Gives me chills just thinking about it. Anyway, we set up camp and then worked our way through the building, filming as we go. We worked our way through the building in about 2.5 to maybe 3 hours, and it was around 10:30 to 11 by that time. We ended up getting back to base. It was about then that we heard a tapping noise, like metal opening and closing. On a calm, windless night, it didn't seem like this was possible, but we wrote it off as maybe just a wind trap in the nurse's station. We gather sleeping bags and our sodas and chat before Luke looked at us and said, "Guys, I can't do this. I'm really uneasy and I just want to go." Well, Chris and I were like, "Okay, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and escort you down to the car and you'll be safe there." We go ahead and escort him down, get greeted by the German Shepherd on guard duty, and then we head back up. We get up and settle in. Chris can fall asleep anywhere instantly, something that he said was a hell of a skill once he joined the army. But it's important as I couldn't sleep at all. I could hear the pup wandering around outside before he laid down outside the window. It was a clear, calm night. We could hear his nails on the cement, all the way on the 3rd floor. Then suddenly he got up and started growling and barking. My heart has never, ever beat that fast. I slowly got up and peered out the window down, and I could see the pup looking back, up at me, growling. Talk about a heart-stopping moment. I kicked Chris and told him what was happening, and he said that it was normal to just go back to bed. Cool, here I was thinking that maybe we might just get killed. I took a few breaths and then crawled back into my sleeping bag and tried to settle in. I was down for what felt like no more than 10 minutes when I sort of woke up. I checked my phone and it was about 12:30ish when I heard the most gut-wrenching sound of my life. Something I will never be able to explain or forget. A loud, unending scream that didn't echo. I would have written it off as just an animal, but midway through whatever it was screamed, "Oh fuck, please stop." Then as it quickly started, it ended. I could feel my fingers trembling, but white-knuckled around my knife. I barely managed to call out to Chris, who didn't respond. I so badly wanted to leave, but couldn't force myself to move. I swear I didn't sleep, but eventually daylight broke, and I was up and packing immediately. I woke up Chris and we went down to the car. I asked Chris about it, and he said that he hadn't heard anything, but Luke had just as weird of a night. He said he could see shadows moving in the surrounding areas of the building, but every time he turned the car lights on to check, they were gone. He said it happened multiple times, but he just closed his eyes and tried to sleep. Needless to say, I have absolutely no clue as to why I decided to work there after all of this. But if you'd like to hear more of these creepy/scary moments from my time here, let me know. The story is 100% true and happened probably almost 2 years ago. I was 15 at the time, and everyone in the house was gone for the night. My mom and stepdad had gone out, and my brothers were at their friend's house. I was pretty used to being home alone. I'm pretty fearless when it comes to scary things happening. But this night scared the death out of me. The sun had set. It was probably around 10 p.m. when I started hearing weird bangs coming from the outside. I ignored it for about 20 minutes until it continuously got louder and more consistent. I finally paused the TV and just sat there listening. It was coming from all over the house, outside of it, literally every side. We have a security system that talks whenever one of the doors open. For example, when our doors open, it goes, "Back door open." So we always know when someone's entering the house. We've had some previous experiences with break-ins. Anyways, I'm sitting there, terrified. I started texting one of my older brothers about these noises, but he told me that it was probably just a few drunks from the bar down the street. Eventually, I got so worked up, I called him. As we were on the phone, our alarm starts talking. "Back door open." My heart immediately dropped into my stomach, and my brother had heard it through the phone. I started sobbing and he yelled for me to go into his room, grab his knife under his bed, and sit in the corner. He was already in his friend's car, and they were on their way. I was shaking so bad that I couldn't even hold the knife. It took them less than 10 minutes to arrive, and they immediately checked all over, with knives and baseball bats in their hands. They found nothing, and when we reviewed our security footage, there was nothing. We still have no idea what was banging, and who it was, or how our back door opened. But soon after, we bought a dog. I'm still superstitious about being left home alone. My coworker just told me about what happened to him on a delivery last night. Last night at about 9:30, he went out on a delivery. He shows up at this house, which has a long driveway, and goes into the woods, and the house was completely dark. No lights, and the blinds were closed. He knocks on the door and waits about 4 minutes till he knocks again. No answer. Again, he walks back in. No answer again. So he walks back to his car when an LED light is shining in his face through the window. Then a man starts screaming at him to get on his stomach or he will shoot him. He does as he is told, and the man steps outside and points the gun at him, asking who he was and why he was there. He nervously tells him that he's just the pizza delivery guy and that he was told to come here. The guy doesn't believe it and thinks he's lying to him and threatens to shoot him again. He checked the receipt and he was given the wrong address. The guy told my coworker to leave and never come back or else. He made it out of there and came back to the pizzeria, scared as fuck, and told everyone what happened. Then he quit that day. I was home alone 2 days ago while my parents were staying over at their friend's house. They were having a wine tasting party and both got tipsy, so they decided to stay in the guest house. I was completely fine with being alone. It was already 11 p.m. at that time, so I headed to bed. It was at 3 a.m. when I woke up with my heart pounding in my chest. My eyes were wide and I was fully awake when I heard a loud noise coming from downstairs. I heard glass shattering and the sound of my front door being beaten down. The house was pitch black, so I decided to quickly take a look at the corner of the stairs to see what was happening before I made a decision on what to do. My heart started pounding harder out of the feeling of complete horror when I saw one man breaking down my entire front door, along with the steel frame that held it together. I was frozen in place, gripping into the railing, watching him run into the door over and over again until one hinge broke off and he fell inside on his knees. But he quickly got back up and took off through the downstairs part of the house. I realized he was coming upstairs soon, so I quietly rushed back into my room and locked the door. I got my phone from my dresser and called 911. Luckily, the police patrolled this area quite often, so I knew it wouldn't take them long for them to come out. The operator said they have units on the way, and she told me to stay quiet, to be in a locked room, which I was. Suddenly, I heard a sound of heavy footsteps running upstairs, and my whole body stiffened. I heard him entering the bathroom first, but quickly leaving the area. Next, he entered my parents' bedroom, which thankfully was empty. I heard him opening the drawers, knocking things onto the ground, and rummaging through my parents' belongings. Next, he went into the guest room, but quickly left that too. The only room left was mine now. I saw the door handle move, and once he realized it was locked, he started to shoulder the door, like he did to the front door. I started to crawl into a safer space, to hide just in case he managed to get inside. My heart was still pounding like crazy. My chest was hurting, and I started feeling the sense of denial. I couldn't believe this was happening. Then, I saw the flashing red and blue lights from outside, reflecting off of my wall, and I heard him stop. I heard his footsteps run downstairs again. There was commotion from downstairs, but it quickly faded out through the front door. I peeked through my blinds and saw him being taken to the third squad car that was in my driveway. Finally, my heart rate started to go back to normal. The police boarded up the door as a temporary fix until we can finally get a new door. Thankfully, everything he stole was recovered since he dropped everything going down the stairs, and the rest of the stuff when he got arrested. My parents couldn't come home that night, but they were upset at the news. I still feel a little bit delirious from this. I still can't believe this happened, and I can't believe how clumsy that guy was, and how he wasn't caught sooner by someone on the street in front of my house. But what's done is done, and hopefully this won't ever happen again. About 2 years ago, I started to get these extremely vivid dreams I would remember, and I would remember every single one. Feel them kind of, if that makes sense. They got even more frequent to all of the time every night, But something changed. It started becoming really disturbing, like me murdering people I care about, me being mutilated, and in most, I am having a literal mental breakdown. Sometimes I wake up just disturbed and crying. About 4 months ago, I heard whispering, knocking, footsteps, but they sounded so distant, like someone was far away, banging on a door. Like they were trying to get in, or walking downstairs, but it sounded so distant, like when you go into a room during a party, and the music sounds muffled and distant. And one night, I heard the knocking and whispering, etc. And then I heard someone say my name. But it was close, and it was my grandmother who passed away years ago. Immediately I had a major panic attack, and the more I panicked, the louder and louder it got, like angry. I feel like I'm literally slipping away from my own reality. Please help. They're still happening. Now, before you leave the video, I wanted to say thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want more of these types of stories, make sure to comment down in the comment section. Make sure to like, comment, and if you're new to this channel and you do enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. Turn on those post notifications so you don't miss a new video. There's going to be a lot more coming, I promise. I'm trying to get back to my regular schedule. It's gradually but surely coming back, and I promise I'm going to get it back to normal. I'm trying to get all of these out for you guys because I know you guys want some new content. So, with that being said, also if you want to know like updates or anything like that before the stories or videos come out, make sure to check out the links in my description, my Twitter, Instagram, and if you want to submit a story, which I would gladly love to tell some subscriber stories, my Gmail is in there as well. Once again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But other than that, stay safe, stay scary, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully my schedule gets back to normal. I would really like that. Okay, bye.